I want to be upfront about something before we start. Of everything I've covered on this channel until now, like rooftops, dead cars, empty houses, this is the one topic where I have more direct operational experience than anyone you're going to find on YouTube. Not because I studied it, not because I researched it, because for a significant portion of my life, dumpsters were not a survival curiosity. They were a food source, a supply chain, and an intelligence network. So when I tell you that a dumpster gives you 4 things that no store can, I'm being accurate, just believe me. And still until the end, because the last one on this list is the reason I'm still here to make this video. Leave a like if this is useful, and subscribe. Let's get into it. To start this, I have to bring the assumption most people operate on. A store gives you access to resources, right? But a dumpster is where resources go when they're no longer useful. But in a collapsed world, this changes. That assumption is built entirely on the logic of a functioning consumer economy, where no longer useful to the store and no longer useful mean the same thing. They don't. A dumpster is not the end of a resource's life. It's the point where the resource became too inconvenient, too outdated, or too close to an arbitrary date for a business to continue holding it. The resource itself is frequently unchanged, and in a collapse scenario, where the store is closed, the supply chain is broken, and the arbitrary dates and inconveniences that drove the disposal decision no longer exist, what's in the dumpster is often more accessible, more available, and more immediately useful than anything left on the stripped shelves inside. So I will bring 4 things. All of them in every dumpster behind every commercial building in the country, and none of them available in any store once the system stops. Let's start with the first. The food that is still safe to eat. Let me tell you something that the food industry has known for decades and that most people have never been told directly. The date printed on most food packaging is not a safety indicator. It's a quality indicator. Best by. Sell by. Use by. 3 different phrases that most people treat as interchangeable expiration dates that mean the food becomes dangerous after that point. They don't mean that. The USDA is explicit about this. Best by indicates peak quality, flavor, texture, appearance, not safety. A product past its best by date may be slightly less flavorful. It is not automatically unsafe. Sell by is an inventory management instruction to retailers, not a consumer safety guideline. It tells the store when to rotate stock. The food is typically safe to consume for days to weeks after that date, depending on the product. The result of this system is that approximately 30 to 40% of all food produced in the United States is discarded before it is consumed. Most of it not because it has spoiled, but because it has crossed an arbitrary date that triggered a disposal protocol. Grocery stores, restaurants, bakeries, delis, all of them discard food on schedules driven by liability management and inventory rotation, not by actual food safety assessment. What goes into the dumpster behind a grocery store on a Tuesday night is frequently what was on the shelf Monday morning. I've eaten food from dumpsters that was better than what I could afford to buy. Not once. Hundreds of times. Bread that was baked that morning. Produce that looked better than what was still on the shelf inside. Packaged goods with dates that hadn't passed, but that the store was rotating out for newer stock. The distinction that actually matters for safety is not the printed date. It's the condition of the food itself. Use your senses. Smell it. Look at it. If it smells wrong, looks wrong, or the packaging is compromised in a way that suggests contamination, don't eat it. If it smells like food and looks like food, it almost certainly is food. In a collapse scenario where the store is empty and the supply chain is broken, the dumpster behind that same store may still contain edible food for days to weeks after the last delivery, because disposal schedules don't stop the moment the grid does. What was being discarded the day before the collapse is still there the day after. I'm not romanticizing this. I know what it costs to depend on this, but I also know that it works, and that knowing it works is the difference between eating and not eating on the days when nothing else is available. Now let's go to the second thing in every dumpster: the construction and insulation materials. How you know, every commercial delivery creates packaging waste. Cardboard boxes, wooden pallets, polyethylene foam, bubble wrap, plastic sheeting, strapping material. All of it discarded after a single use because the business model of commercial distribution doesn't account for the reuse value of what it generates. The dumpsters behind commercial buildings, grocery stores, hardware stores, furniture retailers, appliance dealers, any business that receives regular deliveries contain a continuous stream of packaging material that has more construction and insulation value than most people realize until they need it. Cardboard, specifically, is one of the most underestimated insulation materials available. The thermal conductivity of corrugated cardboard is approximately 0.064 watts per meter Kelvin, comparable to the insulating value of wood and significantly better than most uninsulated wall assemblies. Layered cardboard between a body and a cold surface, concrete, bare earth, tile, eliminates the conductive heat loss that makes sleeping in unheated spaces dangerous in cold conditions. This is documented, measurable, and the reason that communities without access to purpose-made sleeping materials have used cardboard as an insulation layer for as long as cardboard has existed. A single night's worth of cardboard from a grocery store dumpster provides enough material to insulate sleeping space for multiple people. That cardboard is replaced every delivery cycle, typically daily for major retailers. Wooden pallets are important too. The standard 40 by 48-inch wooden platforms used in commercial freight are structural lumber. A standard pallet contains approximately 22 board feet of wood in a form that is already cut, already fastened, and already load-rated for weights far exceeding anything a shelter application would impose. Pallet wood is notoriously difficult to disassemble cleanly, but as a unit it functions as flooring, as wall panel substrate, as a raised sleeping platform that eliminates ground contact, or as structural framing for a simple shelter. Polyethylene foam and bubble wrap provide waterproofing and additional insulation in applications where rigidity isn't required. Plastic sheeting of any gauge is a vapor barrier, a rain cover, a ground cloth, and a windbreak. The commercial supply chain generates this material continuously and discards it continuously. In a collapse scenario where delivery schedules have stopped and the dumpster contents are static, what was accumulated over days to weeks of normal operation is still there, ready to be used. So be fast and grab these items. Now the third thing, electronics and tools. The consumer electronics industry operates on a replacement cycle, not a repair cycle. When a device develops a minor fault, a cracked screen, a degraded battery, a single failed component, the economic calculation in a functioning consumer economy almost always favors replacement over repair. The device is discarded. A new one is purchased. What gets discarded is not a non-functional object. It's an object with one specific failure in an otherwise functional system. The cables are still good. The charging circuits are still functional. The speakers still work. The battery, even if degraded to 60% of original capacity, still holds charge. The sensors, the display in many cases, the structural components, all of it still functioning, discarded because the device as a whole no longer meets the standard of the consumer who owned it. In a collapse scenario, 60% battery capacity is not a deficiency. It's a power source. A cable that only works if held at a specific angle is not trash. It's a connection that works if you hold it at a specific angle. A phone with a cracked screen still runs its operating system, still accesses stored maps and reference material that doesn't require connectivity, still functions as a calculator, a flashlight, a timer, and a storage device for any information you've downloaded. Beyond consumer electronics, tools get discarded for the same reason. A drill with a worn chuck, a saw with a dull blade, a level with a cracked housing. In a world where replacement is easy and cheap, these go in the dumpster. In a world where they don't, a drill with a worn chuck is still a drill. A saw with a dull blade can be resharpened. A level with a cracked housing still measures level. The electronics and tool dumpsters behind big box retailers, repair shops, and commercial offices represent a supply of functional components and nearly functional devices that no retail shelf carries. Because retail sells new products, not products that work fine with minor caveats. I found things in dumpsters that I couldn't have afforded to buy. Still can't, honestly. The gap between what gets thrown away and what gets sold is wider than most people who've never had to bridge it can imagine. Before the fourth thing that in my opinion is the most important, I have special advice for you. If you are interested in knowing the best urban strategies with me, I experience this daily in practice, so I may help you with some valuable strategies. If you want to best prepare for a collapsing world, I'm launching my new Urban Survival Protocol, a complete plan and strategies to help you prepare for the first 30 days of a broken world. Ultimately, there's nothing better than learning from someone who already lives this reality in practice, right? If you're interested, the link is in the description and pinned comment. Now let's go to the last thing that a dumpster gives you, the intelligence about your environment. This is the one that saved my life. And I mean that in the most literal, least dramatic way possible. Not once, multiple times. In situations where knowing what was happening around me before I walked into it was the difference between a safe decision and one that wasn't. Here's what a dumpster actually is, beyond the physical contents. It's a record of recent human activity in a specific location. What people discard tells you what they have. What they're consuming tells you how many of them there are and how long they've been there. What they're throwing away tells you what they've decided they no longer need, which tells you what they still have enough of to discard. In a collapse scenario, that information is operational intelligence. Medical packaging in a dumpster tells you someone nearby is treating injuries or illness, which tells you there may be medical supplies in that location, or that the group there has people who are compromised and may need assistance, or may be a lower security risk. Food packaging tells you what kind of food the group has access to and roughly how long they've been operating. Empty containers tell you what's been depleted. Full or partially full containers that were discarded tell you that the group had enough of something to start throwing it away. Construction material in a dumpster tells you someone nearby is building or fortifying something. Tool packaging tells you someone recently acquired capability. Clothing and personal items tell you about movement, people arriving with belongings and shedding what they don't need, or people leaving in a hurry and discarding what they couldn't carry. In 2010, after a period of severe weather that left me working out where I could safely sleep in an unfamiliar part of a city, I found what I needed to know in 3 dumpsters over the course of 2 hours. Which areas had active human occupation, which building behind which dumpster was generating heat based on the condensation pattern on the packaging inside, and which block had nobody on it based on the age of the material in the dumpster compared to the others. I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't expose myself to assess the situation. I read the dumpsters and made decisions based on what they told me. Those decisions kept me out of 2 situations that I found out later were genuinely dangerous. In a collapse scenario, when you don't know who's in the building ahead, whether a neighborhood is occupied or abandoned, whether a group nearby is stable or in crisis, the dumpsters in the area will tell you more about the current situation than any other passive intelligence source available to you. And here's the part that matters most. Reading a dumpster costs you nothing. It requires no equipment, no contact with other people, no exposure of your position or your intentions. It's a one-way intelligence channel that broadcasts continuously as long as people are generating waste. When the waste stops, when a dumpster that was full last week is empty this week and stays empty, that's information too. The people who were there are gone. The resource that was generating that waste has been depleted or abandoned. A dumpster is not just a container, it's a sensor. And learning to read it is a skill that no gear, no preparation, and no amount of stored supplies can replace, because it tells you what's happening right now in real time, in the specific location you're trying to navigate. That's what saves your life. Not the food, not the cardboard, not the tools, the information. We saw 4 things, all of them in every dumpster behind every commercial building in the country. Food that the system decided was no longer worth keeping, and that your body doesn't know the difference from anything else. Construction and insulation material discarded after a single use that solves the cold, the wet, and the exposure that kills people faster than hunger. Electronics and tools with one specific failure in an otherwise functional system, thrown away because replacement was easier than repair. And a continuous, passive, real-time record of human activity in the surrounding area that tells you more about what's happening around you than anything you'll find inside. A store gives you products, but when the store is gone, the products are gone with it. A dumpster gives you what people decided they no longer needed. In a collapse, what people decided they no longer needed is frequently exactly what you do. I know this, not because I read it somewhere, because this is how I've been operating for years, and I'm still here. Don't forget to check the link in the description if you want more tips about how to survive. Leave a like if this changed how you think about what gets thrown away, and subscribe. There's more coming that most channels won't touch. And never forget, know the place before you need the place.